Hello, welcome back to the Lunch Pail Labs channel. Today we're going to talk about prioritizing integration projects with rice. So while this will be very much focused on how you apply rice to integrations, it's also a just generally popular product scoring model that you can apply to any sort of product initiatives. So if you are a software leader or a founder building a SaaS, where integrations are a large component of it, where customers are requesting different integrations, you're not sure how to prioritize what integrations to work on, this is a framework that you can use to begin to inform those discussions. So first up, what is rice? Rice was originally developed by Intercom. It's, again, this product scoring model, prioritization scoring model, and it has 4 components: reach, impact, confidence, and effort. We'll go through what each component entails, and you kind of give each a score, and then you use this formula to then create your rice score, and that can start to help you prioritize what to work on. So let's first start with what reach is, especially in the context of integration. So reach is a number. And for integrations, it's the number of users your integrations will reach, the number of users who will download your integration. To kind of estimate this number, because we're talking about planning, so none of this is going to be a hard, concrete. But to estimate this number, there are a couple of things that you can take a look at. One is like the host platform size. If you're integrating into a hyperscaler like AWS or Google GCP, Google Cloud Marketplace, even big companies like HubSpot or Shopify, there has the potential to be many, many, many thousands of customers who could make use of your integration. And so host platform size, that's a helpful thing to consider when you are prioritizing projects. Then another big thing is like user overlap, which I find is kind of interesting to think of, especially in the context of host platform size, because there might be a platform that's much, much bigger, like multiples bigger, but you end up acquiring more integration users just because there's so many more user overlap on the platform. And for user overlap, Crossbeam, I think, is like the most robust tool that I found out for kind of figuring out tool overlap. They have a tool for that I'll link in the show notes. And yeah, that's something to consider. And then also this like research/forum requests. How much of a demand is there on the platform for your integration or customers of that platform, or for your integration category? So customers don't necessarily have to say, hey, like, I want this company's integration, but for your category, is there a lot of demand for it? Are customers asking for it? Are people requesting it? And so oftentimes when I'm working with clients, I'll dive into forum request boards. I'll dive into like feature request boards to see what's the general appetite for the solution that the company I'm working with has. And I think that can also be really interesting, because I had even an example working with a company where we had 2 integrations already launched, and one where the host platform size was multiple times bigger. I think fair amount of like user overlap. Both platforms had like the same kind of product category and like usage case, but the smaller platform had so much more integration sort of like reach and download and usage, because on that host platform, the smaller one, there wasn't an existing solution on that category. And so customers were really asking for the existing solution. So that became like a fruitful partnership. So it's not always just about finding the biggest platform and putting an integration there. Sometimes small platforms might be more lucrative opportunities. The next is impact. And impact, there are a couple of ways to think about it. Intercom usually uses this rice scoring model, not just for prioritizing revenue generating projects. So impact could generally be anything. It could be qualitative, user experience, customer satisfaction. In the context of integrations, you really want to try to nail down and estimate like how much money this integration is going to be to bring in. And the impact is going to come from two different places, typically from existing customers. And so if you have existing customers who are like, yes, I really need this integration, that integration can then either help them upgrade or help them become longer term customers. In sales conversations, if you have an integration that customers are asking for, like, oh, like we would use your tool if you have this integration. Cool. That could also unlock some revenue. And then you have this revenue from new customers, which the sales conversations kind of jump in there. But sometimes there are customers who you don't know will become a customer, but because they're not necessarily actively looking for your solution specifically. But if you are on the host platform and you're a good option on that host platform and people are looking for your integration category, then yeah, you can acquire new customers. Even though it's more of a, revenues are very much a quantitative metric, we'll still use this sort of qualitative scoring to just assess like what is the impact here. And so you'll have minimal, you'll have massive. And I like this impact metric because sometimes an integration won't have a lot of reach, but unlocks some really key accounts. Like, for example, right now I'm working with a company and they have an integration that they need to unlock like a really large customer. And so even though the integration may just serve that customer, it's going to unlock a lot of revenue. So it's a priority. That reach times impact, that impact is really large. Then we have confidence. And confidence is just about how confident you are about the estimates that you're making. And confidence can come from a lot of different places, whether it's research, if you have concrete research, if you yourself have a feedback board, which I think is a great way to start prioritizing this. Throw up your integration ideas on Canny, for example, which is a great product feedback software, and just see, like, do customers upvote it? What integrations do people request? I think some other things that I've seen, especially on product onboarding flows that are super interesting, is having a little survey of like, what other tools do you use to kind of get an understanding of what their full stack is. So any concrete evidence helps increase your confidence. And then again, you're going to apply the scoring: low confidence, medium confidence, high confidence. Next is effort, and effort is just about how many person months it will take to accomplish the integration. And so person months, or whatever effort metric you want, person months is very popular, and person months is really about how many people for how many months. And so if you have one person working on it for 8 months, that's 8 person months. But also if you have 4 people working on it for 2 months, that's 8 person months. So especially for integration projects, which sometimes can be very cross-functional when you're talking about not just the development, but also the building and the marketing and the launching and the supporting, you want to make sure that you account for all the resources required for that particular integration. And then you combine it all together: reach times impact times confidence over effort. And there you go. So this was a little speedy overview of how to prioritize projects with the RICE scoring model, how to prioritize integrations. I'm super curious what you use to prioritize integrations. And also note, like, yes, this seems very scientific and analytic, but this is all part of to just put some numbers down to start having a discussion. Because sometimes your integration roadmap could have 20, 30, 40, 50, different integration options. And so I like RICE for quickly just evaluating, like, okay, which group starts to look more high impact, lower impact, medium impact. And then from there, you can make decisions based on all sorts of things. So would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and hope y'all have a great one.